I have a really good one for comeback player. It's going to get you. I don't even want to write it down because it's so good.
Who would I not be thinking of? Oh, I already know.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. Right here.
Damn it, you do know.
I do know.
He knows. This guy knows ball.
Come on now.
All right. I'm ready, bro. Are you ready? Because I'm ready.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey.
You're good, bro.
Hello. Welcome back to the Second and Two podcast. I'm your host, TB. I've got my co-host, producer extraordinaire, and one of the groomsmen at my wedding,
Very true.
Jodye. What's up, Joe?
What up, bro? You know, we're back to normal life. How's that feel? I know for you, you had a sweet vacation. My vacation was being in Texas, sweating way too much.
Yeah, went to Mexico. Mexico was fun. It was good. Went to Cancun, had a really good time, and been back to normal life now for like 4 or 5 days, and right back in the swing of things. Normal day-to-day life.
Definitely not
It
fun.
didn't.
I'll tell you that.
It didn't take me long. Monday was an adjustment day, and by Tuesday, I felt like it was just like back in the saddle, back to normal, no problem. You know what I mean? Just right back to it.
Yeah.
So, no, but it was good. We had fun. It was nice to get away, be unbothered for about a week or so, almost a full week, and yeah, we had fun.
How just like me on my way there, you also had delays, bro. What's going on with the airports right now? Why is there so many delays?
You know what? They're just
They
trying to
don't know
make
how to
sure
fix
the
planes.
the planes are safe, man. I don't hate that. You know.
It's a hindrance though. You missed just like me. I missed my connecting flights. You know what I mean? It makes everything harder because then you got to
Yeah.
rebook.
Yeah, it was. We did end up having to stay in a hotel overnight.
Oh, they hooked you guys up.
Yeah, so
Nice.
what Jody's referencing is our flight out of Cancun was supposed to leave Saturday. We're supposed to get back to Lubbock like late Saturday night. Fly out of Cancun to Dallas, Dallas to Lubbock. Well, our flight from Cancun to Dallas left like 6 hours late. So that meant that all the connecting flights from Dallas to Lubbock, we were flying in like later than we were gonna. We actually got in about 30 minutes before the last flight from Dallas to Lubbock left, but
Uh-huh.
we had to go through customs and everything like that. We were never going to catch it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they got us a room at a hotel in Dallas, like 2 miles from the airport, to stay overnight, which was crazy because we got there at like 11:30. By the time we checked in, got in the room, it was midnight. Well, you figure like we had to, then go
Be
from.
up early.
Well, I was going to say then our flight from Dallas to Lubbock the next morning was at 7 a.m. Well,
Yeah.
you're talking about Dallas airport. You don't want to be there too
Not
late,
even
whatever. So we
sleeping.
were back up at like 4:15. Like we went to bed at
Yeah,
midnight.
that's
And we were up at
brutal.
4:15. So yeah, but it was what it was. We got home Sunday morning, so nobody's complaining.
There you go. Yeah, nice little layover day. That's you got to have one of those. You get a day to just chill, figure everything out, and then it's like, all right, now we got to go back to life.
Yeah, there's there's good and bad about that. We missed our dogs, so that it was nice to come home and see the
True.
dogs.
They
Dogs were
probably went
happy we were
crazy, huh?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, super crazy, dude. Um,
Hey.
but so as far as football goes, we're kind of in the last week before football like starts. Like training camp is next week for a lot of teams, getting starting, and if it's not next week, it's like the week after. So a lot of teams are getting rolling, getting ready to go. And this is kind of the last week of the dog days of summer before football really kind of gets rolling again. And when we get into camp, we start getting some news. We start, talking about teams projecting depth charts and injuries and maybe even some trades, last minute free agent signings, all those kinds of things start rolling once you get into camp. So it's kind of our last fill in the gap podcast, hopefully, if you will, before we get some real training camp stuff going. So
Hopefully.
what the plan is for today, we're going to go through an awards preview for the 2026 NFL season. We're going to talk about the new season of Quarterback on Netflix. And then we're going to assess, they came out with the NFL executives polls, like position rankings, and they gave us a top 10 receivers. So it kind of seems to be generating a lot of buzz. We're going to assess that list and see what we agree with or would change. And then we may finish here with a banger of the week. So to start out, Joe, first award, the MVP. So the way it's going to go, I'm going to give you a top 3. And from that top 3, I'm going to let you pick who you think will actually win the award of my top 3.
For me. Makes it
I'll
easy.
I'll sell you on each guy, all right? And then you pick who you think is going to win the award. All right. So first off, for the MVP, first guy I've got in the top 3. And this is by far this is, by the way, like I'm projecting this as like the top 3 finishers, all right, next year. So in no particular order, right? Because again, Joey's gonna actually pick our projected winner here. In no particular order. First guy I've got for you, Josh Allen. Josh Allen won this award not obviously last year, but the year before. He has perennially been in the MVP conversation. I think did he finish 3rd behind Stafford and May last year? I think he
so.
did.
Yeah. They were the front runners for the longest, so it didn't even matter.
All right, so Josh Allen, perennial, top 5 MVP candidate basically since essentially like 2020, 2019. This guy's
that's true.
had a ton of top 5 NFL MVP finishes. He won the award 2 years ago. I think he was 3rd last year behind Stafford and May. I would be surprised if he's not in the top 3, if not wins it again. The case for it, you take his offensive coordinator and make him the head coach. So continuity on offense will stay the same. You add DJ Moore, probably one of the better receivers he's been able to throw to since Stephon Diggs left the team. You hope that the tight ends stay healthy this year. Their O-line is generally been pretty good. So a lot of the offense stays the same, plus DJ Moore, who's a pretty good receiver, even kind of at the beginning of the later stages of his career. I still think most teams would be like, yeah, DJ Moore, pretty good receiver. You'd like to have him. So you add all that together, and I think it's a recipe for Josh Allen to have another fantastic year. As long as he stays healthy, I don't see why he's not a top 3 NFL MVP finisher. Number 2, I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes. I said this last week. We were talking about head coach quarterback combos, which if you haven't listened to that episode, I finally did get a chance to listen to it. Pretty good. I enjoyed it for it being our in-person pod. There were some technical sound issues, but other than that, pretty good.
The random.
Yeah. But in that pod, I talked about Patrick Mahomes, and I kind of felt like he could have the year where he reminds everybody, like, hey, man, I'm still that guy. And I think, especially coming off the injury, I think he wants to prove that. So I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes here to have kind of a bounce back year coming back from the injury. You can make a case that maybe he ends up in another category of awards, but I think he'll be good enough this year, like so good that you can't deny putting him as a top 3 NFL MVP finisher. And then number 3, I've got Joe Burrow. This one, I went back and forth with a few different quarterbacks. I thought about May, thought about Stafford, thought about Lamar. Ultimately settled on Joe Burrow. Some of his comments in the offseason have piqued my interest. I don't know if you saw this, but
what are those? Yeah, no, I haven't heard nothing.
About 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe more like 3 or 4 weeks ago, he said something to a reporter that was basically like, this Bengals team, he's really excited about it. It's reminding him of 2019 LSU.
Oh,
So he really
is that
likes
the
the
juice?
team. They kept Zach Taylor, so continuity on offense. His guys are both happy, healthy, and paid with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Mhm.
He's got plenty of weapons. I think their O-line is going to be a little bit better this year. And defensively, they might be good enough that like they can win some more games with Dexter Lawrence, getting him up front. I like a lot of what they did this offseason. And I think the Bengals could be better. But not only that, I think Joe Burrow could finally be like healthy and have like he's had a full offseason. He's not recovering from anything. So I just feel like this could be a year where like we see, an MVP level of Joe Burrow. My beyond Stafford, Lamar, and May, the only other guy I was thinking about putting in here is Herbert. I think Herbert might be my
You
fourth.
love the Chargers.
I think Herbert might be my fourth. I think he's going to have a big year. So, but these are my top three: Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Of those three, Jody, who are you
Yeah.
projecting as our 2026, 2027 NFL awards MVP?
I do like the addition of Joe Burrow. You know how much I love the guy. I think ultimately the answer is going to be Josh Allen. Patty Mahomes is a good pick, but I think he's got more hype for comeback player of the year as opposed to just straight out MVP. You know what I mean? So
I don't know,
I
dude.
think
If
I'd
he
roll
has a
Josh
if he
Allen
has a
here.
big year, they might give it to him. Everybody loves a good story. But
Yeah,
it'll
but
be easier. I'm sure it'll be easier for him to win comeback player, but I think
yeah,
he could have the type of year
exactly.
where he wins MVP. Okay, my offensive player of the year, my top three here. Offensive player of the year to me is the hardest category to pick
Because
because
it could be a quarterback again or
well,
actual skill
yeah,
position.
it's weird because like NFL MVP is now just best quarterback in the league, right?
Yeah.
And offensive player of the year is kind of like, okay, who's the next best skill player that doesn't play quarterback? But every so often, a quarterback somehow like weasels their way in there, and you're like, if they had a good enough year, but they're not quite in the MVP. It's a weird
Yeah.
category to pick.
It's like the runner
So
up
I kind of
almost.
yeah, but sometimes it's not even that. Like Justin Herbert won like offensive player of the year one year, I remember, and like but he wasn't really in the MVP race. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Mhm.
It's a weird category to pick. I think it's the hardest of all of them to project because it could be a quarterback, even though that's not kind of what you're thinking. So here's what I did.
Yeah.
I kind of threw some darts at the board here and covered multiple bases. So I have a quarterback, a running back, and a receiver in my top three for offensive player of the year. So first off, my quarterback, Lamar Jackson. I think he could have a big year with this new offensive coordinator that they've got. I'm hearing big things out of Ravens land that he and the new OC are Declan Doyle are really vibing and loving the energy and effort that they went through, the OTAs and the mini camp and all that stuff, and they're kind of excited to get rolling in training camp. So I'm excited to see how they progress. I think it could be really good. So I'm going to say Lamar has kind of a bounce back year, and I'm going to say that
Okay.
he's not quite MVP, but he's offensive player of the year, top three. Next guy, he was top three offensive player of the year last year, just missed it to
Mhm.
JSN. I'm going Puka Nacua. I think he's still going to be the engine that runs that Rams offense. No, he's had a bit of a rough offseason, at least early in the offseason. I feel like in this latter part of the offseason, he's actually been really good. Heard
Cut
him
the
in a press
hair.
conference. He cut the hair. He actually did, 6 weeks in a facility to help himself, like mentally, physically, and emotionally get right. And heard him talking to, at a press conference to some reporters about how he's been journaling, and some of his teammates have given him major props for his recognition of like some of the mistakes he made in the latter part of the season, early part of the off season, and how he's worked really hard to make sure that those are things that don't define him or continue or hurt his career or hurt the team in any kind of way. So I like the track he's on, even though the offseason didn't start great for him. So I'm going to go with Puka Nacua. And last but not least, on my top 3 offensive player of the years list, this is an award where it does feel like if a running back has a dominant year, this is where they get an award. It's that offensive player of the year. And I
Very
think a
true.
guy, especially with his new head coach, who could be in a line for like I'm not kidding, if he stays healthy, we might be touching 2,000 rushing yards. Maybe, between 5 and 800 receiving yards, the way he can catch the ball in the backfield too. Has that
Yeah.
kind of year. You're talking offensive player of the year. So, Bijan Robinson, I think could have a monster year in Atlanta and under Kevin Stefanski, and especially with some of their limitations at quarterback. I think he could be in line for a big time year, and I'm excited to see what he does. So those are my top 3. So who are you taking offensive
Yeah.
player of the year, Jodye?
I think personally, I'll say this now. I thought Lamar would be my MVP. You know what I mean? I think he, like you said, he's gonna have a crazy year coming back and just putting in the work. I don't know if I really want him here in this spot on the offensive player of the year. I think you're selling me more on Bijan.
Ooh,
New coordinator coming in and offensive mind, right? I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken.
mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, and like you said, he's a good dude to have for those quarterbacks to give him a quick dump off, and he's gonna go make magic happen. I think they could definitely get him some good reps, and he could be almost like Christian McCaffrey was, like, I don't know, 5 years ago when he was getting these like votes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, Bijan Robinson. Let's hope he
Yeah.
stays
Oh,
healthy.
my
Could have a
outside
big year.
looking in guy would be AJ Brown here.
Oh, okay. Um, Next one, defensive player of the year. This award is fun because it does actually feel open to any defensive player. Now, it's often like, the best corner, the best pass rusher. Occasionally, like a dominant multi-tiered, multi-leveled linebacker can get there. If they have a huge season. And once again, I kind of hit 3 different levels of the defense here in
Mm-hmm.
my top 3. 3 guys who I think could have just monster years in terms of all of them are either in a new system or with a new team. And so I'm excited to see what they do with these, new schematics. I'm going to go first, Myles Garrett, reigning defensive player of the year. He may not win it, but I think he's going to be top 3 again. I think with everything coming out of Rams camp about, recent developments with Aaron Donald and him showing up at the facility and everything that they're doing to get him back, it's just going to free up Myles Garrett that much more, I think. And Chris Shula was really good in the first half of the year last year, scheming things up. And that was without a guy like a Myles Garrett. I'm excited to see what they do with him and how he can change the contour of their defense and how they, how they handle, passing situations, what they do, how they match him up, where they put him. They've been very creative in the past with their talented pass rushers. Sometimes they lined Jared Verse up over the center. The Browns did some of that with Myles Garrett. Could we see some of that here in LA? And then there's going to be other times where it's like, just go out there against that tackle, win one-on-one, go get paid, big fella. So excited to see Myles Garrett in LA. He's my first pick. Second one, Fred Warner. Was hurt last year, kind of in a similar boat you said earlier off air about, him and Patrick Mahomes, similar boat here. Could be more in line for a comeback player of the year. But I think his impact on the Niners defense it's every year it's phenomenal.
That's
I think
true.
in Raheem Morris's defense, it's going to be even more so. He's going to highlight those skills that Fred Warner has. I think Raheem is a player's coach, so I think he's going to give Fred Warner the ultimate freedom to navigate the defense and set it for himself to make plays. And Fred Warner's the type of guy who could go get, multiple sacks, multiple interceptions, 100 plus tackles, like all that stuff is available to him. And if they highlight those skills and he has that kind of year, he could be. It's been a while since we've seen a dominant linebacker win defensive player of the year, true off-ball linebacker like this. So we might get it this year with Fred Warner. And last but not least, Of all the guys who might benefit most from like, some schematic changes, it might be Kyle Hamilton and Jesse Minter's new Ravens defense. You think about like maybe some of the things
Changing
that
dudes.
maybe some of the things that Jesse Minter was able to do with like Derwin James, and Kyle Hamilton is a better player than Derwin James. So I'm just excited to see what he does, where they play him. Are they going to play him in the slot? They're going to play him in the middle of the field. Are they going to mix it around and do multiple things near the line of scrimmage, deep in the middle of the field, in a half, in man coverage, blitzing, like all the stuff that Kyle Hamilton, he's such a Swiss Army knife. There's so many things he can do. And I think Jesse Minter's the kind of innovative and creative defensive coordinator who will use all of those skills and highlight them. And so I really like him for Defensive Player of the Year this year. Excited to see what he does with Jesse Minter's defense.
All right, let me ask you this real quick. Was Raheem Morris the DC for the Rams when they had Bobby Wagner?
Yes.
Okay, because I think you might have sold me on Fred Warner.
Okay.
I was gonna say Kyle Hamilton because I feel like him living free in the secondary would have been crazy, especially having a new head coach / DC. But I think Fred Warner might be my answer here, even though I did tell you earlier he might be another candidate for comeback player of the year, just because of that thought that I just had while you were speaking. Because we seen what he did when he was with the Rams. You know what I mean? Clearly, he loves the middle linebackers. So I think he might be able to take that one. So I'm going to go Fred Warner here.
All right. Let's see. Protector of the Year. This is another tough award to project because tackles don't really get a lot of like. Yeah, it's like 2 years old now.
Okay. I just
Yeah,
wasn't paying
they've given
attention
out like the last 2 years. The O-line, they campaigned for it, which is cool. They get their award, right?
Hey, the big
It's just
fellow award. Come on now.
it's a hard award to choose or to project because there's no like O-line stats, right? There's nothing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's all like PFF grades and film watching and ball knowers, right? So it is a tough one to project. I think Penei Sewell won it last year, if I'm not mistaken. It's a little bit of just perception too of like which guy do people love up front?
Yeah, that's
So
true.
with that in mind, I stuck with tackles. Tackles are the guys who are generally going to receive the most love with this award. And I'm going to give you 3 guys on teams that I think where they just could have the greatest impact for their quarterbacks, keeping their quarterbacks upright. So first and foremost, I went Joe Alt with the Los Angeles Chargers. I really liked that pick a couple years ago. He had a tough year staying healthy last year, but I think he's going to stay healthy this year. And I think Justin Herbert's going to have a great year, and part of that is going to be Joe Alt. So I'm going Joe Alt. Next, I'm going to go Garrett Bowles. He's been doing it for a long time in Denver. It's going to be absolutely paramount for Bo Nix that he's protected this year. The Denver O-line has generally been pretty good the last 3 or 4 years. Garrett Bowles is a big part of that. He's been very consistent. He plays, and he does a really good job. Doesn't always get a ton of recognition, but he's a guy that I think hopefully maybe people are finally starting to recognize like this guy's a dude. And then last but not least, I'm going to go with Tristan Wirfs. Simply because have you ever seen the video of him jumping from a pool out of the pool and sticking the landing in like 3 foot of standing water? It's ridiculous. This guy's an insane athlete, and he does a good job protecting Baker Mayfield. So I'm going Tristan Wirfs as my last choice.
Yeah, I think I don't know. This one's tough, like you said. I think if I wanted to go here, I'd probably go Tristan Wirfs, to be honest. But I guess it could also come down to which team has the best season. You know what I mean? And if that was the case,
Like I said,
go either Alt or
Penei
Bowles. It's like that's fair. That's fair. They didn't make the
Penei
playoffs, so
Sewell
that's
didn't make the
different.
playoffs last year. I think he got it.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
So are you going with Wirfs?
Well, yeah. We'll take Wirfs. I
Okay.
think
All right.
It's yeah. I'm going with my gut on that one, just because that's where I was going first. Although maybe down the road something could happen, and record plays a role. I
Okay.
do say it outside looking in, probably the classic. Oh man, what's homie from the Niners? Is bad
Trent
look for
Trent
me.
Williams.
There you go. Yep.
Trent Williams is
Outside looking in.
old, man. He's been doing it for a while. He's still
Or
really good. He's just
okay.
old.
Who's Deion Dawkins? That's another one you could think of
Yeah.
for Josh Allen. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. All
All
right.
viable.
Comeback player of the year. Here we go. So we already mentioned two of my candidates, Patrick Mahomes and Fred
Yeah.
Warner, both coming back from debilitating leg injuries that caused them to not finish the year last year. Both guys who I think are going to have good enough years that they're going to be up for other awards as well. So I don't really have to make the case beyond those two,
Yeah.
beyond what I've already said. The last guy, though, ooh, it's a sneaky one. It's a sneaky one. He ain't coming back from an injury. He's coming back from 2 years of retirement. We're going Aaron Donald.
Ooh.
Aaron Donald for comeback player of the year 2026 because he's playing. So those are my top three: Aaron Donald, Patrick Mahomes, Fred Warner. I don't think I need to really make a case for Aaron Donald, do I?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's just
No,
if he plays,
not at all.
it's such a great story,
If
and we know what we're gonna get. That he's probably getting this award.
especially if he has a crazy impact too,
Yeah,
I think that one is his. If he does have some solid numbers, and I will say too, of course the other two are great candidates too, but I think
of
at the end of the
course.
day, if you come back off of 2 years of doing it, I also want to say I wanted to try to beat you to saying his name and say Philip Rivers for fun, but didn't do it. I bit my tongue. Uh, the headline or the storyline, whatever you want to call it, I think would be so much better if you just had a dude coming off of 2 years retirement, going back to his team that he was with for 9 years. You know what I mean? I think the story alone would probably sell him. Similar to things we've seen in the past. So I don't know. Other two dudes I think make a great option, but the storyline from Aaron Donald probably prevails.
Okay, I like it. Offensive rookie of the year. It's not a great year for offensive rookie of the year, in my opinion. I think the obvious candidate and the guy who, if I'm being honest, I would just pick to win is Jeremiah
Yeah.
Love.
No, I
So
agree.
much of the Cardinals offense, I think, is going to go through him. That I think he's going to be insane this year. But the other two guys who I included here, I'll start by saying I don't think Fernando Mendoza is going to play enough. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be able to
Yeah.
play for a good chunk of the year. I
Like
don't think
half of it, I would
Mendoza.
say.
Yeah, I just don't think Mendoza is going to play enough where I'm ready to put him in this. Two guys who I do think are going to play and make big impacts at receiver for their teams. I'm going Omar Cooper Jr., which you could have thought, maybe made a consideration for his teammate Kenyon Sadiq, but I think Omar Cooper Jr. is going to
Oh,
have a bigger impact for the Jets right away in their offense. And then I'm going Carnell Tate, the highest receiver taken in the draft with the Titans. I think he and Cam Ward are going to be a nice pairing. So those are my top three. Jodye, who are you taking?
I think Arnold Tate would be a good one, right? Him and Mort have been building up some rapport together. That's like their highlight tape you've been seeing, right? Them two just eating each
And
other, looking like
and
they're in a good nuclear.
OTAs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think we got to go chalk here and go Jeremiah Love because, like you said, he will
Okay.
be most of that offense in Arizona. I mean, pretty sure the running back got hurt last year, so he's going to be getting some reps early. And I mean, they didn't draft him third overall for no reason. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
going to be
They didn't
fed
draft
for
him
sure.
third to not give him the ball.
Yeah.
I thought you were actually going away from the chalk, so I was like, "Oh man, he's really going away from
No,
it."
no,
So
no, no. It's definitely
I'm
him.
glad
I
you
just
went.
wanted to show love to Carnell Tate because I feel like he could definitely make a run for the money too. Outside looking in McCown, I love him.
Our defensive rookie of the year. Much like the offensive rookie of the year, I have one specific guy in mind that I would choose. and he's the first guy I'm going to talk about, and that's Caleb Downs.
Oh,
I've talked about this a lot.
Washington,
I
yeah?
think Dallas.
Dallas.
Um,
Who's the Washington guy?
Sonny Styles,
Oh, that's who I was thinking
linebacker.
of.
Caleb Downs, both from Ohio State, but
Safety,
Caleb
right?
Downs, the safety from Ohio State, with Christian Parker, their new DC. I'm telling you, I think he's going to have a massive year and a massive impact on the Cowboys defense right away. I think he's going to be like a top 5 safety in the league right away. I'm juiced for Caleb Downs. I think he's going to be awesome. Mansour Delane is my second choice here. I think he's a Trent McDuffie clone. He got drafted by the team that just traded Trent McDuffie.
Yeah.
I think they like him, which is why they felt good about trading Trent McDuffie. They knew they could get this guy in the draft, and he's going to be sensational at corner right away. He's going to lock people down. He's going to be a good tackler. He's going to do a lot of good things. And then last but not least, I think the pass rusher that's going to have the biggest impact as a rookie is going to be Ruben Bain up in Tampa Bay, or I guess down in Tampa Bay. He's going to be – I think he's going to have a big-time year. I think he's going to be awesome. And I'm excited to see Ruben Bain play this year. So those are my 3 guys: Caleb Downs, Mansour Delane, and Ruben Bain.
All right. So I'm going to start with this one saying I don't watch much college ball. Right. So me personally, my favorite pick is Mansour Delane. I've talked about that guy on and on since we've done the draft preview.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not where I'm going. I'm going Ruben Bain. I think there's
Ooh.
been a lot of noise about this guy being reptar arms, triceratops. Having not long enough arms to be good. That makes no sense. Why does that matter? I get it. You want to get some push off the ball or from the offensive guy, but you seen what he did last year, making a run with Miami. Come on now, that dude still stayed in Florida. I think he's gonna make some noise and prove people wrong, especially that. That's a big chip on your shoulder. People dogging you for having small arms. Like what? You just saw him ball. Like get out of here, bro. I'm rolling Ruben Bain. He's gonna have a big chip on his shoulder, and he seems like the guy to step up to the plate.
I agree. All right, coach of the year, the head coach of the year in the NFL. Here are my top 3 for you. I'm going Ben Johnson, who, by the way, finished top 3 last year. I'm going Jim Harbaugh in Los Angeles because I'm all in on the Chargers this year, and I think they're going to be awesome. And I'm going Jesse Minter, rookie head coach with Baltimore, makes a huge impact. Baltimore goes from missing the playoffs to the number 1 seed in the AFC. If that happens, Jesse Minter will receive heavy consideration. There's always at least one rookie coach in the coach of the year, top 3. If you look like historically, it almost always happens. So Jesse Minter was my guy to put in that spot. But I like what Harbaugh's building in LA. I like what Ben Johnson's doing in Chicago. So those are my 3.
Yeah. All right, right here, I would love to go Ben Johnson. Because I'm high on the Bears. But I think the issue there is going to be hard to replicate what they did last year.
And that division's good.
Yep, that's another part of it. So Ben Johnson out the window. Jesse Minter, I think he has a good case if his defense goes crazy, especially with the guy you mentioned earlier, Kyle Hamilton. And then Lamar goes crazy as well. We also talked about earlier. But I think ultimately it might be Harbaugh. If he could take that division and spin everything around, you know what I mean? Like obviously they've been good. But if he could get Justin Herbert to stay healthy along with his O line and even running back, because I'm pretty sure Omarion Hampton got hurt last year a little bit. And so if they could stay healthy and even take the division, I think he's got a good case because he's been flipping the script for them. It's just a matter of they haven't all been together for long enough. You know what I mean? Like in terms of health, not like he's been there a couple of years. You know what I mean? That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then the last award we're going to give out here is the Assistant Coach of the Year. This is usually given to like the top coordinator in the NFL. So I've got 3 candidates for you, 2 on offense, 1 on defense. My first one, if I'm going to hype up Jim Harbaugh, one of the reasons I'm hyping him up and Justin Herbert and Joe Alt and everything I think about this Chargers team, I think a big reason I've been hyping it up all offseason, probably my favorite assistant coach hire of the offseason. That's Mike McDaniel with the Chargers as their new offense coordinator. I think he has a chance to take them to the next level. So, of course, he's going to be on my list for assistant coach of the year. Second one, you know what? This was actually provided by Jodye, suggested by Jodye. I agreed with him. I was glad he said something. A guy who's been a head coach, a guy who's done some really good things with different quarterbacks, specifically Josh Allen for a year or two there, Daniel Jones. I think he's going to do good things for Cam Ward under their head coach there in Tennessee, and that's Brian Daboll, the new Titans offensive coordinator. I do like his fit with Cam Ward. Cam Ward's arguably, not even really arguably, it just probably is true that he's the most talented quarterback Daboll's worked with since he had Josh Allen in Buffalo. So excited to see what they're able to do there. And then last but not least, on the defensive side, I'm going Chris Shula, defensive coordinator of the Rams. If you had stopped the season 11 weeks in last year, he might have won this award. The last few weeks of the season, they kind of went downhill. Well, now you add Trent McDuffie and Myles Garrett, and you're telling me this guy's defense isn't going to be sick next year? I'm juiced to see. Yeah, and possibly Aaron Donald, our comeback player of the year. You add all those guys, and you basically only lost Verse from last year's team to add those three guys. Come on, man. Come on. And they signed Jalen Watson in free agency, McDuffie's counterpart in Kansas City at the other corner spot. And once again, didn't give anything up, just signed him. The only guy. So you put in potentially 3 future Hall of Famers and Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald, Trent McDuffie, with then a really good player in Jalen Watson. And you basically all you lost from last year's defense was Jared Verse. And you're telling me, and that defense was really good for a while and then faltered down the stretch. And you're telling me this defense isn't going to be like elite this year? Come on, man. Come on. Give me Chris Shula. You got a chance to really do something here.
Yeah. I think here it's a toss-up between Mike McDaniel and Chris Shula.
I really sold you on Shula. I could tell. I could tell your face was like, he's right. He's right.
No, you're not wrong. I think I'm a roll Chris Shula, but I do agree with you with Mike McDaniel. I know it didn't work out for him too well with the Dolphins as a head coach, but him only having to focus on the offense, especially with younger dudes that are just as fast, you know what I mean? Like I think he could definitely shape them up to be in a good position. But yeah, no, the defense, if they can go crazy, bro. They did well last year, you already said it. And if he's got better weapons, new weapons. Come on, I think that sounds like a no brainer.
I like it.
And I want to diversify the portfolio. We don't need two sets of starters on the list.
Yeah. You know what? We got a Buffalo Bill, we got a Cardinal, we got a Niner, a Buccaneer, a Ram,
Falcon,
a Cardinal. Let's see, another Buccaneer. We got 2 Buccaneers and 2 Rams on this list, a Charger and then the last Ram there. So Shula and Aaron Donald, Ruben Bay, and Tristan Wirfs putting on for the Rams and Buccaneers here. I think we think the Bucs might be having a good year if we're giving them 2 individual player awards both up front on the line of scrimmage. Okay, so that's it for our awards predictions. So just to wrap it up,
where would you change?
In any of these?
Yeah.
I think I'm good with Josh Allen and Bijan Robinson. I think I might have picked those guys as well. I think I go Kyle Hamilton for DPOY.
That's where my head
I think I'm with you on Wirfs for Protector of the Year. I'm obviously all in on Aaron Donald for Comeback Player of the Year. I told you Jeremiah Love was my choice for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I would have gone Caleb Downs for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
I would probably go Jesse Minter for Coach of the Year and Mike McDaniel for Assistant Coach of the Year if I was choosing these things. So
coaches,
I guess in some of
the Defensive Rookie.
Yeah, and the Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. But I'm not, like I said, these guys are all in my top 3, so it's kind of splitting hairs in terms of who you pick. So ultimately, here's where we ended up. MVP, top 3, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, winner Josh Allen. Offensive Player of the Year, top 3, Lamar Jackson, Puka Nacua, Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson, winner. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, Fred Warner, Kyle Hamilton. Fred Warner winning it. Protector of the Year, Joe Alt, Garrett Bowles, Tristan Wirfs. Tristan Wirfs is the winner. Comeback player of the year, Aaron Donald, Patrick Mahomes, Fred Warner. Aaron Donald as the winner. Offensive rookie of the year, Jeremiah Love, Omar Cooper Jr., and Carnell Tate, with Jeremiah Love winning it. Defensive rookie of the year, Caleb Downs, Mansour Delane, Ruben Bain, with Ruben Bain winning it. Coach of the year, Ben Johnson, Jim Harbaugh, Jesse Minter, giving it to Jim Harbaugh. And assistant coach of the year, Mike McDaniel, Brian Daboll, Chris Shula, with Chris Shula winning the award. It's a good group, good list. I think we did a good job there.
I got a question
ask you
for
next. Yeah.
Would you like to hear what chat thinks for these awards?
Oh wow, yeah. Hit us.
That's what I was doing when you were introducing. I was like, let me see what this fool has to say. So MVP, we got Drake May with the runner-up Patty Mahomes. Offensive player of the year, we got Bijan, Jamar.
So
Defensive
far,
player,
we're 1 for 2 with it. Okay, go ahead.
Defensive player, it's got Micah Parsons with Aiden Hutchinson runner-up. Offensive rookie, this is hilarious. It says Arch Manning with the asterisk, and then KC Concepcion. The asterisk says it would switch it to the other guy because Arch Manning won't be in the NFL this season, which is like, why would you write it in? But all right.
Okay.
Defensive rookie of the year says TJ Parker, CJ Allen. I don't know those guys, but good luck to them. Comeback player of the year, we got Aiden Hutchinson and Anthony Richardson. Coach of the year, Dan Campbell and Mike McDonald. We got assistant coach of the year, Ben Johnson and Jesse Minter. I guess he's no longer the head coach. They're only taking his OC efforts.
Dude, chat GPT is always like a year behind.
Yeah. And then protector of the year has Penei Sewell and Tristan Wirfs.
Okay, so like there was a few of our names. They have Bijan just like we did. There we go. Bijan. That's our guy.
Yep. Says 2,000 yards from scrimmage is what they're projecting.
Let's go.
That's what you said too.
So I ask you a question here, Joe. Have you had a chance to watch the new season of Quarterback on Netflix?
I have not. I've actually never seen any of them. I don't even know if I've seen, because there's been like a receiver, right? There's been
they did
seasons
so
of the quarterbacks.
The first year they did it was the 2022-23 season. They did quarterback. Then 23-24 they did receiver. 24-25 they went back to quarterback, and then the season they're airing now 25-26 it was quarterbacks again. The first year they did it, I think they did 3 quarterbacks. This year they're doing 4. And the thing that they all have in common, they're all first round picks. Basically, was the
do they
the
normally
selling
have
point.
like a theme like that?
No, I like the first year was like Kirk Cousins, Pat Mahomes, and Marcus Mariota, I think. And it was it was interesting because they were kind of going like, I think they were trying to go at different ends of the spectrum. It was like Mahomes is at the top of the sport. Kirk Cousins has just been around for a really long time and is really solid. And then Mariota was like, hey, he was a starter, he's a backup. Now he's kind of in that in between, and they wanted to kind of catch like all these quarterbacks at different points in their career. And I think that's kind of been the idea in every season.
Okay.
I want to say last year it was like Burrow. I don't remember who else. Burrow, Goff, and maybe Cousins again. I think it's what it was last year. And so this year now they went Cam Ward, the most recent. So they got Cam Ward's rookie year. Jaden Daniels going into his sophomore year. Baker Mayfield going into like year 10 or whatever he was at. And then Joe Flacco in like year 18 or wherever he's at in his career. So they said, hey, we're going to get quarterbacks again at different points in their career.
Yeah.
But the big thing they emphasized in the first episode, and I've only watched the first episode so far. So I haven't watched too deep into it. I think there's 7 episodes.
Wait, this is from last season? All the content's from last season?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So they film during the season and release in the summer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I got you.
And so so it's interesting because like I said, it's all first round picks and guys just first year, second year, somewhere around year 10, middle of the career, and then end of the career, journeyman Joe Flacco. So it should be really interesting. They kind of go through all these different perspectives of these quarterbacks based on where they are in their year or in their career, right? Like with Cam Ward in that first episode, a lot of it was like his
Learning
like
stuff.
growing up and how he got to like from being a wing T quarterback in high school to Miami and the number 1 overall pick going to the Titans, right? So like how did that kind of journey, what's the background? How has he gotten to this point? Whereas like with Joe Flacco, it was a lot of like looking back and like winning the Super Bowl and what that meant. And now when he looks on his career, like what the career
traveling
achievements,
in all the different teams.
yeah, they covered his career, his travels since he left Baltimore. Yeah, it's been really interesting to see the different perspectives so far with just one episode in. But I would say it's a really good look into like what those guys have to deal with on a week-to-week basis, what the level of pressure, what it's like to be the face of a franchise, to be like the guy who's going to get the ball on every single play, who everyone is entrusting, whether that's the owner, the play caller, the fans, the receiver, the O-line, everybody. There's all of that pressure on those guys. And it's an interesting look into like how they handle that day to day and what their support system is, how they prepare week to week, how they handle injuries, how you get like inside sort of they're mic'd up obviously for the game, so you get a lot of like inside communication of what's happening in those games and how they're processing play to play. I think it's an excellent series. It has been since it aired, and they do a really good job of documenting what that experience is really like for those guys. So if you get a chance, I'd tell anybody to watch it.
Yeah, I probably should at least go watch one of the past ones to learn what it's about. Because, like I said, I haven't seen any of these. I just remember the receiver ones. I know they had like Justin Jefferson, I'm pretty sure, and like someone else that was really big.
I want to say it was like Kittle and maybe Devontae Adams or something like that.
I think Kittle was definitely one. You're right.
So speaking of receivers, the last thing we're going to talk about today generated a lot of buzz, a lot of thought. The NFL executive poll, they do this yearly poll where the NFL executives rank different position groups 1 through 10. You end up with some honorable mentions, some others receiving votes, that kind of thing. But you have a top 10. So Joey, I'm going to read you their top 10.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you some of the honorable mentions and the others receiving votes, and we're going to critique the list and decide who's too low, who's too high, who missed out that should be in the top 10, who's in the top 10 that probably shouldn't be, etc. Right?
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
So first off, just going to read the list. Number 1, Jamar Chase. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. Number 3, Jackson Smith and Jigba, the reigning offensive player of the year. Number 4, Puka Nacua. Number 5, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Number 6, C.D. Lamb. Number 7, George Pickens. Number 8, Nico Collins. Number 9, A.J. Brown. Number 10, Devontae Adams. Here's your honorable mentions, the guys who just missed the list.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors, Mike Evans, Zay Flowers, Tyreek Hill, Drake London, Jamison Williams, and then your other guys who received at least one vote at some point. Alec Pierce, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., and Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Okay. So, who do we think? First off, let's start with that top 3. Is this the right top 3?
Yeah, I think it just whatever order you want to put them. It's all preferential. You know what I mean? I think that's the right answer, though. To be honest,
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, JSN.
I think it's fair. I think Justin Jefferson, he honestly probably could be one if he had good quarterback play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jamar definitely benefits from like Joe Burrow's been his quarterback his whole
college.
career. Yeah. I think if I had any nitpicks,
You just
I
swap
think I
JSN
would.
with Puka.
Yeah,
That's fair too.
I think there's a little bit of recency bias with. I know JSN had an incredible season, but Puka's
Yeah,
been doing that. Like JSN's
that's
rookie
true.
year was kind of
That
like
is true.
middling, and it was okay, but it
Yeah,
wasn't.
he honestly, it wasn't anything special. I think he was very middle of the pack, like you said.
If
And
JSN does that again this year, though, it'll be like, yeah, he's cemented. He's got to be top three. But
yeah,
for right now, I'd still go Puka at 3, and I'd put JSN at 4 personally.
hmm I think one
Now
through
and
six is
then
all perfectly fine. To be honest, you could put them
I
wherever you
agree.
want. Dudes.
I agree. The next two being Amon-Ra St. Brown and CeeDee Lamb. I'm with you. Those are
Yeah,
my. I would say the 1 through 6. That's a pretty solid 1 through
I agree.
6. Where we start having some interesting. Is it me or did you think George Pickens is like way too high at 7?
I agree. Trust me. He's good, but we've only seen it like 1 year. You know what I mean?
Well, he's like
I need more
he's
consistency.
either not healthy or he's doing stupid stuff or yeah, I don't
Exactly.
know. I don't
That's
know
where I'm
about
at.
George Pickens at
He
7.
had a great
Like
year. You know what I mean? He
I
showed
think
out
the
when CD
next
was hurt.
I think the next 3 guys are all more consistent and more reliable than George
Yeah,
Pickens.
I agree there
Nico
too.
Collins, AJ Brown, Devontae Adams. I think I'd rather have all 3 of those guys than George
Oh,
Pickens personally. Now,
yeah, agree.
beyond that, then so if like we were to say, there's a guy snubbed, I think we would both agree George Pickens is the guy that falls off the list for us for someone else to get
Yeah,
in.
definitely.
If you are making the case for any one of the guys who are honorable mentions or receiving votes, who you would say, man, that guy was snubbed. He's a top 10 receiver, and I'm putting him in instead of George Pickens. Who's the guy you're
Yeah,
making that argument for?
I might say Drake London. Honestly, amount of production he had with that team surrounding by him, like it
Quarterbacks
wasn't anything
that aren't,
special. Yeah,
yeah. I
like I
agree.
think he
Drake
did pretty
London's
well.
been the next most productive guy. Like if it was a career achievement award, it's obviously Mike Evans. It's just that
Yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Evans is
That's
just
yeah.
older. I think I
I
would
agree.
still, even at his age, the last year was the first year the guy didn't get to 1,000, dude, and
Yeah,
he was just
that's
hurt.
also
He was
kind of
just
true.
hurt
But
for too long. It's not like when he was healthy, he was still balling. That's
I'm
the
pretty
crazy
sure he
part. He
got
was still
close though,
balling.
right? What?
Yeah, I think so. Like
I think
I
he's only
think
off
I
by like
would
100.
go. I think I would bump George Pickens for Mike Evans just on the
Uh-huh.
consistency factor. But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
guy who's like the obvious talent that could easily be like up to like as high as like 7 probably this year if he comes off the injury
Mhm.
okay, it's Malik Neighbors, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. I know you had him on the honorable mentions, but it's like he played so little last year. He did great, but it wasn't that long.
Yeah. I think I would rank, but once again, I think I would still go like Neighbors, Mike Evans, and Drake London before I would go with George Pickens. Like George Pickens to me, I don't know what
Mhm.
happened, but he seems like severely overrated now to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
have him
it's
7.
because they've been trying to gas him up for a payday with Jerry, and then it's like this guy's the greatest thing since sliced
this is
bread. You know
this is
what
this is all the other executives colluding for the list for Jerry to see George
I
Pickens as
mean?
7th and then pay
Yeah.
him an exorbitant amount. That's what you're saying?
Yeah,
Conspiracy
yeah,
theory, Jody?
probably,
Oh
probably. I
my
wouldn't be
gosh.
surprised to be honest.
I think that's hilarious. The other guy who there's kind of 3 more guys who are in that receiving votes that I, would say like maybe should have been a little higher, maybe been more like honorable mention.
It's Olave
Um,
for me, I think.
I like Olave. He's hurt a lot. But the 3 guys
Yeah,
for
that's
me,
true.
Terry McLaurin, Garrett Wilson, and Devontae Smith. I'm kind of
Oh,
excited
Garrett
for
Wilson.
Devon. Yeah,
He just
I'm
hasn't had
I'm
a
kind of
quarterback.
excited. Yes, yes. Kind of excited for Devontae Smith this year to be like the number 1 guy with AJ Brown gone because I
Mhm.
want to see like what does he do? Like he's going to get
Yeah, yeah.
more looks in the offense, more catches, more targets, more touches. I'm excited to see what he can do in that offense. I like all 3 of those guys. With Smith, Wilson, and McLaurin. So, um, all right. Anything else that you stands out to you about the list, Jody, that you want to say that we hadn't touched on?
Um, I think that was my biggest gripe was George Pickens was a little high to me.
Yeah,
Like I said, he had a good year, but compared to everyone else on the list, they're all consistent. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I think the craziest is that ranking of
Yeah.
Pickens, but beyond that, I think everything else was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Okay,
Got more of these?
I think.
That's the only thing I gotta say.
Say what?
Oh, I said they got any more of these people? Like not receivers, but like the rest of the groups?
I
I'd love
think
to
they
see what
rank
they think on this one.
all of them. That might be next week, looking at the rest of the NFL
Okay.
executive position rankings and seeing what we think.
Yeah.
The receiver one was just the one that had generated the most buzz this week on social
Oh,
media. So
okay.
I was curious your takes on it. I think a lot of people, and of course I'm on Rams Twitter, so a lot of people were upset about Puka's ranking, felt like he was
Yeah.
too low. Like I said, I don't think I'd take him above Chase or Jefferson, but I
Yeah.
think he's just below those guys. I think it's kind of like Chase and Jefferson are 1A, 1B. And then I think
Yeah.
Puka and JSN, you can make the argument, are, the 3A, 3B.
Uh-huh.
And I think those four are the bona fide four. Like, I don't think you can make a
Yeah.
case for anyone else above those guys. Those are the four. And then, like you said, I almost feel like, yeah, the 5A, 5B are Brown and CD, and you can't make a case for
Mhm.
anyone below those guys to be in that top six. So I do like, that's a pretty bona fide top six. I don't think there's too many arguments beyond like where you rank each of those guys up against each other. I don't think there's any arguments for anyone below them to get into that top six above those guys.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's
Um,
very, very solid. They know what they're talking
and
about.
so banger of the week, Joe. You got any
Yeah.
culture, music, food, movies, TV, anything for us that we need to be watching or listening to
Yeah,
or eating?
I actually I watched a movie the other day. Yeah, I should have went to
Okay.
bed. I should have only watched half, went to bed, but I stayed up. I was locked in. That was the moral of the story. I seen The Accountant 2. So I don't know if you've seen the first one with Ben Affleck,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I was like, how could they make this movie again and change it? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And they did a pretty good job. It starts off kind of slow, don't get me wrong, because like he's not, you don't even see him for a little bit. It's like these other people trying to figure it all out. And so you get in, and then it's got the Punisher in it. I don't know his real name, but the dude that plays the Punisher, he's in there. They're like brothers. It's pretty sick the way they made
John
it all play
Bernthal?
out. Sure.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the most recent Punisher.
Yeah. He's like
Yeah, it's
he's
John
got
Bernthal,
like
dude.
slick back hair, kind of
John Bernthal's
Mexican looking dude.
I don't know if John Bernthal's Mexican
Maybe
looking.
he's just white, but he's got darker features. That's probably what it is. We're probably
Do me a
talking about the
favor.
same guy.
Look up
I'll
John
look him up.
Bernthal
I'll
for
look
me
him up.
right now because I don't know if we're talking about the same guy. Jon
Yes.
Bernth. It's
That's him.
him? Okay.
That's him.
You think John Bernthal looks Mexican, huh?
Yeah. You don't think so?
No.
What does he look? White?
Yeah, some kind of European, maybe Italian. I don't know. What
I'm gonna type that in right after. Oh, he's Jewish. It
There you go.
says roots in Germany, Austria, Russia, definitely European. Well, I don't know,
Jewish.
man.
Told you.
Look at this picture. This isn't even anything recent, but like that looks like typical Dio right there. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm looking at some of his pictures on the internet right now, and not a one of them is
Nah,
looking
bro. Did you
like
not just see the one I
a
showed you?
Hispa No, no, dude. None of these look Hispanic. Come on, man. Well,
Oh,
this is not good podcasting, by the way. I'm sorry to all of our listeners. I don't think this
I
is
should probably
I don't think
upload
this
the photos
I don't,
of
I
this
don't
guy.
think this is entertaining for anyone
But
except for just you
we're
and
talking
I.
about the same guy. Long story short.
Um, yeah, okay, so The Accountant 2. All right.
Yep.
I am already signed up. I already have tickets
It was
to go
on
see
Prime, I believe.
the Odyssey this
Oh, my bad.
weekend. I'm ready. So I've got my
Yeah,
tickets. Jill
Travis
and I are gonna
Scott.
go Saturday. Yeah, dude. Hey, loaded
There's
cast. I
hella
mean, we're
people in that
talking
movie.
Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Charlize Theron, Lupita Nyong'o,
Yeah, I don't know those
John
last
John
two actors.
Bernthal, our guy John Bernthal's in the movie. Who else? Like, I mean, the list goes on. Travis Scott, like you said, Travis Scott's in the movie. So the list goes on, dude. It's a stacked, full cast of just people. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
And apparently it's really good. So
it's funny because like last year, even I think when there was buzz about the movie, one of my coworkers was like, he was so excited to see it, and then he saw like Travis Scott and like some other rando were in there. He's like, "Bro, what are they doing with this movie? Like, I'm not watching that thing no more." And then like 2 weeks ago, he's like, "Oh man, I can't wait to see this movie." I was like, "Bro, I thought you didn't want to see it anymore." And he goes like, "Oh no, like I've come back around. I do want to see it. It's just
I've come
the
back
cast is
around.
just so absurd." Yeah, I was like, "That's crazy, bro." I
Yeah, I'm
know who
excited.
John Leguizamo is. He's in
Oh yeah, yeah,
The Chef or whatever.
yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people. Elliot
There
Page,
is.
another one.
Oh, see,
Uh,
he was the first on the list. I just didn't know if you said it already, so I didn't want to say it.
yeah. I mean, and it's funny. There's like some whole internet controversy about the casting and everything. Like whatever, dude. I'm excited to see it. It's Christopher Nolan. It's a Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah.
He's gonna ace it. And also, you tell me Christopher Nolan and Matt Damon, I'm in. I don't even need to know anything else, right? I'm just in on that movie. It's gonna be good. Those guys do good work. So,
Mhm.
but all right, man. That's it. Great pod. Until the end, I guess. And we appreciate everyone commenting. All of the above. And we got our guy.
And Ray taking us out.